We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Alright, I'm sorry. This next question's got me completely confused. Mostly because I don't remember this. Brian, which apparently
Really?
his nickname is Brain the Vampire. That sounds like something I would make up.
That was you.
That doesn't sound like me.
That you don't remember this?
I
Jeez.
don't remember
His vendor telling him all his speakers needed to be in his ceiling, and he has the tall ceiling, the 14-foot ceiling. You don't remember that?
Nope, none of that.
Jeez.
All right. I was probably extremely tired. Brian's AV vendor is still pushing to put all 5 of his speakers in the ceiling. Brian didn't want this, but they were going to compromise on the Golden Ear Super Cinema XL soundbar under the TV. How is that a compromise? But okay. Dude, get a new AV vendor.
I've been saying that since day one.
Dude, whoever you're working with, not a good AV vendor. This guy is like, I know better than you. Like, listen, I've got the money. Shut up or get lost. Do what I say. What do you mean he's still pushing? You're compromising with a sound bar. I'm sorry.
Well, to be fair, that was our suggestion came into play with that because he has this odd opening that's beside where his TV is, and everything had to go under it. So
yeah.
I was like, get a very good, like, it's not even a soundbar. It's 3 speakers that share one cabinet. That's what we were suggesting.
Right. So Brian and his wife visited a Best Buy with Magnolia section where they had a Martin Logan electrostatic speaker set up on display. His wife really liked the sound quality and the looks, so she's suddenly okay with floor-standing speakers.
Yeah,
Dude.
all right.
And new AV vendor. Sorry. If electrostatic towers on the front left and right, does the center speaker also need to be electrostatic? What about the surround speakers, which still need to be in ceiling? What do we think? Okay. Yeah, so this is a can of worms. So let me see here. He's got, I'm trying to look at this thing here. He's in the great room, right?
He's in the great room. You can see the 5 speakers proposed for their ceiling placement.
Right. Electrostatic speakers actually work really well for you here because they're going to be they're more directional, less reflected sound. So you're going to be, having them go directly towards you, and that will be good.
A higher ratio of direct sound versus reflected sound.
So you don't have to worry about the fact that you have this big opening on one side versus the other side. That being said, you're kind of want to get a speaker that matches that electrostat. You're going to have to kind of do that.
When it comes to Martin Logan, my recommendation is pick a series that you like. Yeah. In your case, I'm probably going to suggest the ElectroMotion ESL series and choose all your speakers from that series.
That's what I would do too.
Yeah. The reason that I think the ElectroMotion ESL series in particular would work for you, one, it's not as costly.
Right.
It's still expensive, but it's not as costly as some of their other options. But they have a nice center speaker option within that series, which actually does use electrostatic panels for the mid-range. Then they actually use like a folded ribbon tweeter just for the tweeter.
Right.
Because it's hard to do a horizontal electrostatic speaker and make a sound, but they use electrostatic mid-range, folded ribbon tweeter, matches nicely with the electrostatic towers that they have, and then they also have in-ceiling models that use the same folded ribbon tweeter as the center. They have them in both a straight down firing and a 15-degree angled firing, either or within that series. So they have all the speaker types that you need or could want within that series. The price is somewhat reasonable, and that's what I would go for in your case.
Yeah, that sounds like the best way to go. He asked, will a regular AV receiver be able to power these electrostatic speakers? He's read conflicting information, but many articles suggest using external amplification. If that's really needed, what amp would we suggest? And just as a note, he'll be going with the SB16 Ultra Sub, and the initial budget is pretty much out the window at this point, so he's willing to go with what will work and sound best. Okay, it's really hard for me to look at because it says great room, right? If you look at this, it says great room. Now, I'm no expert, but that's small looking great room. It says 15 feet across.
Well, I mean, it's great room because it's open to the dining room and kitchen, so by definition, it's a great room.
Yeah. You're going to be sitting pretty close to them, But these are electrostatic speakers, and
They are
Martin
hard
Logan's
to drive.
in particular are hard to drive and sometimes dip down to, and I don't know about the ESLs that he's talking about. They might dip down to like 1 or 1.2
They go into the 2 ohm range.
Yeah,
They do.
it's just, it gets scary. So do you need external amplification? If you don't turn it up too loud,
which is true of any speaker,
you could maybe get away with not having it. But since you're probably at some point going to want to show these off for your friends, and you don't want your receiver to burst into flames, cry like a little baby as it does so, you're probably going to want to go with external amplification. And even with, before I scrolled down just now and saw the link that Rob has put on here, I knew that he was going to suggest the Monolith amps from Monoprice. Because those are bulletproof, very low noise floor, which is great for electrostatic speakers, and essentially a reduced price ADP amp.
ATI. Yeah.
ATI is what I said.
Yeah, $1,100 for the 3-channel model. Not inexpensive, but for the type of gear that you're talking about, not out of place.
Yeah.
And my gut reaction is, if these were my speakers in this room, I would want an external amp.
Yeah.
And if I was getting an external amp, this is the one I would want, because it's super beefy. It can handle the 2 ohm dip, no problem. 200 watts per channel, and $1,100, while not inexpensive, is not so expensive that it makes you completely balk at it, especially when you see the price of those ElectroMotion ESL speakers. So, I mean, really, you said the budget's already out the window and you want good sound. I'm like, this will get it. I guarantee.
You could probably get there with Emotiva as well, right?
Oh, yeah, you could, but
it's just
this is
yeah.
I mean, it's, you probably want the XPA Gen 3s, and if you go for the 3-channel one of that, it's more expensive than the Monoprice Monolith. I mean, it's only like $100 more expensive, but still, $100 is $100.
I want to give him options. You know, he might not like the way the Monolith.
Oh yeah, I mean, there'd be no problem with the Emotiva XPA Gen 3.
Yeah.
But there's no price incentive to go for that over this Monolith. And I'm saying, since he's doing a 5-speaker setup, I have no problem driving your in-ceiling surrounds with the receiver. That's fine. If those are the only 2 speakers your receiver's powering, totally fine to power this around, so I get the 3-channel and power your left, center, right.
You'll be a lot closer to those anyways, depending on how high the ceilings are.
It's 14-foot ceiling, man, so they're going to be up there.
They're still going to be 12 feet. The 13... No, it's going to be about 10 feet away, depending on how high it goes. All right. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.